Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. African politics has been characterized with its extreme intolerance of any opposing point of view. The quotation, those who are not with us, are against us, has summarized that political mentality, ethos. And I think it is no exaggeration that in Zimbabwe, Zanu PF has taken that ethos to the murderous extent. The party, unfortunately for the country, had the opportunity to impose that ethos on the nation with brutality that the nation could not escape. As much as the people tried to resist it, they could not. In one of his recent articles, the author, Phillan Zamchiya, whom many Zimbabweans will be familiar with, said the following. For 6 decades, the party, Zanu PF, has been characterized by storms of assassinations, factional fights, purges, coups, and betrayals. Yet, strangely, very few ever leave it by choice. Those who are pushed out often circle back, seeking re-entry, contrition, or forgiveness. Even those who once bore the scars of opposition politics, fighting for democracy, have now boarded the gravy train. He is right. This has been the reality in Zimbabwe. The political system imposed by Zanu PF has been so oppressive that few have dared to leave it. One can remember some of characters like Professor Jonathan Moyo. He left the party and circled back. And there have been recent rumors that he's intending to come back again. In 2004, following the Cholocho debacle, he left the party and was fired. And when he came back, he famously said, "It's cold out there." And Mugabe welcomed him back. And following the 2017 military coup, he and a few others found themselves once again on the losing side. He was in one of the G40 leaders and was lucky to escape with his life. and there's been in Kenya hiding in a foxhole there. And there were recent rumors that he's trying to come back. And somebody was depicting him there as the prodigal son. Why has it been so difficult to leave Zanu PF? As I said, it's because the regime has imposed the idea that those who are not with us are against us with such brutality that it is really possible to survive out there. Even when Mnangagwa himself was booted out of the party in 2017, we all remember, we all know how he and his supporters still maintained that they were Zanu PF members. And they wouldn't have it any other way. What people have got to understand with Zanu PF is that if you are in the party, yes, you may find yourself being attacked. But think of it as a hyena being attacked by fellow hyenas in a clan. If you are an outsider, you're just like a goat to the hyenas. They attack to kill. Period. There's no hesitation at all. And if you should leave the party and declare yourself that you are no longer a member of the party, even if you were at one point a leading member of Zanu PF, think of it as a hyena that has left the clan. And the clan has thrown goat blood over it. Trust me, as far as the rest of the clan are concerned, if you smell like a goat, you may look like a hyena. They don't think of it that way at all. If you smell like a goat, you're a goat. That's it. What people have got to appreciate here is that this Zanu PF mentality that has taken this ethos of those who are against us, who are not with us, are against us, to this murderous extent, the consequences of it is that the party has killed democracy in Zimbabwe. No party can exist outside Zanu PF. That's what it means. And that's the reason why the opposition have found it near impossible to exist. The party has become so powerful now that it's able to infiltrate the opposition and rendering it, as they've done with MTC-CCC, totally useless. Yes, as Zamchiya correctly pointed out there, that the opposition have been tempted to go back to Zanu PF and join the gravy train. In some cases, it must be said, when they had the opportunity to bring about meaningful change. They failed to do so because Zanu PF offered them the trappings of high office, and they found that impossible to resist. And the fact that Zanu PF has had uh, unlimited access to resources, to the nation's wealth, the looting in Zimbabwe has now gone into overdrive. It has made leaders like Mnangagwa extremely rich. And so he's able to have agencies infiltrate opposition parties and buy off opposition parties. And there's no doubt that during the 2008 to 2013 GNU, the country had the opportunity to implement the reforms. And the only reason why Morgan Tsvangirai and company failed to implement even one token reform was because they are corrupt. That is the truth. There was no dictatorial arm twisting on Morgan Tsvangirai and company. It was just purely because they are corrupt, incompetent, and utterly useless. But within the party itself, and in politics in general, Zanu PF has killed all possibilities of a meaningful democratic multi-party system existing in Zimbabwe. And it is for that reason that people must realize that there is no point in trying to work with the system. We have to overhaul it. We have got to change it. The opportunity to overhaul the political system in Zimbabwe was definitely during the 2008 to 2013 GNU. Unfortunately, that opportunity was wasted. But it doesn't mean that we cannot implement those reforms or we don't need them anymore. We need them more than ever before. After 45 years of rigged elections, the number one thing that should be at the top of every Zimbabwean's mind right now is how are we going to put an end to this curse of rigged elections and bad governance. There is no doubt that MDC, Triple C leaders have been participating in these flawed elections to give the process legitimacy and perpetuate the dictatorship ever since the 2008 to 2013 GNU debacle. So to continue to pretend that somehow Chamisa and company are going to bring about meaningful change is naive, to say the least. We need to revert back to the consensus of the late 1990s when the nation decided that we needed an opposition that will implement the democratic reforms to end the Zanu PF dictatorship. That is where we need to go back. And we should have the courage to do so. 2028, in my view, is all about, can we stop Zanu PF perpetuating this system of rigged elections and getting away with it? We cannot stop them rigging the elections. It is too late to implement the reforms. What we can do is make sure that the regime does not get away with it. And the most effective way of doing that is making sure that people do not participate. We cannot deny that it has been folly participating in flawed elections when we know that by doing so, we are giving Zanu PF legitimacy. SADC and the AU election observers condemned the 2023 elections. Their report is there. Read it for yourself. But they could not go the extra mile and deny Zanu PF legitimacy as they did in 2008 because Chamisa and his supporters had participated in those elections in their millions. Nearly 2 million people voted for Chamisa. We have to stop those 2 million participating in 2028 if we want to deny Zanu PF legitimacy. Both SADC and the AU have already put their marker. They condemned the 2023 elections as flawed and illegal. They know that not even one token reform has been implemented since those elections. And therefore, then it will be easy for them to accept the reality that those 2028 elections will not be free, fair, and credible. All we have got to do is do our part. Make sure that we do not participate. But I agree. That is easier said than done. When you have got an electorate that is so easily conned. Our task is to make sure that Chamisa does not con his followers to participate in 2028 elections in their millions. It is folly to keep participating in an election process which you know is flawed, which you know if you participate, you're only giving the vote rigging Zanu PF legitimacy. We have to break the system. We cannot get a healthy and functioning democracy as long as we have got a political system that we have at present. Like I said, Zanu PF has taken the ethos that those who are not with us are against us to the murderous extent. They've managed to create a de facto one-party state. We have to dismantle that one-party state. Think about it. Thank you very much. Have a good afternoon.